Are you looking for new music, something off the beaten path? Maybe something that is not readily available through the popular music channels that are very faithfully spoon-fed to us. Maybe something a little bit more challenging, something that will cause you to pause and get in touch with maybe different shades of emotions. Maybe the kind of music that you are not accustomed to, but something that would pique your curiosity. Well, if so, then I would like to tell you about my new album entitled Glossolalia. Glossolalia is a worship, expression, or a spiritual practice found in certain streams of the Christian church, but also in certain non-Christian religions. And it can function as a spoken word when it is a verbal prayer, or interestingly so, for me as a composer certainly, when it functions through music, when a congregation is gathered together and the members of the congregation together improvise on a common major chord. This is the inspiration for my new album entitled Glossolalia. Although glossolalia is a religious term, in the context of this album, I think about it as a plurality of human expression, and the collection of the tracks found on the album is very representative of a very wide spectrum of human emotions. So I have certain tracks that are very calm, very meditative, and if the listener so desires to interpret, perhaps sacred. And in other tracks I explore very forceful, very different kind of emotions where the adrenaline is flowing full blast and all the stops are pulled. A very interesting combination, juxtaposition of these two different emotional spaces. Stylistically, glossolalia is based in the post-classical idiom, and the word post-classical to me is really an emergency word because we find ourselves in the post-classical period and we speak about our music as modern or contemporary, but even those words do not properly express the many different strands in the classical world at present. But for now, let me just use the word post-classical, but those of you who already know my music, you know that my music is quite accessible. I like to throw in a few jazzy riffs, a few rock harmonic progressions. So I think on a certain level my music feels familiar. So if you love classical music, I think you will enjoy my album. If you are not familiar with classical music at all, I think this album will be a very interesting discovery to you. And for you, a few music buffs out there, I'm sure you will recognize the echoes of Arnold Schoenberg's post-tonalism and maybe a few other gems only recognizable to people who have studied music very extensively. I was very lucky to collaborate on this project with a superb ensemble from Poland, NeoQuartet. We met online. We have not met previously, and we agreed that this project was worth the risk, and we jumped in it with both feet, or with let's see, 10 feet together, and decided to work. We met only once ahead of the rehearsals through Skype. I suppose we had to do it to prove to each other that our mental faculties were intact. But honestly and truly, we met for the very first time during the first rehearsal. But from the very first rehearsal, I felt a very close artistic musical bond with the ensemble, and they were a pleasure to work with. And all together, we had a fantastic time preparing the music. I also very much enjoyed working with Paweł Nowicki, a vibraphone player, a very talented young Polish musician who was a guest performer on one of the pieces entitled First in Flight, which I have written for vibraphone and string quartet. And we recorded the album in the studio of Radio Gdańsk with the fabulous sound engineer Jacek Puchalski. The album is now available for sale through all the traditional music channels such as iTunes, Amazon, CD Baby, Google Play, SoundCloud, Bandcamp, and of course you can find all the proper links to all these retailers on my website at www.dosiamackay.com. I hope that you will find me on Facebook, Twitter, and subscribe to me on YouTube. Thank you so much for sharing my journey with me, for your interest in my music, for sharing my videos and my links on Facebook. I really appreciate your support and your interest. Do stay in touch. Thank you for listening.